Alrighty, everybody. We're going to try to grab a game. Wish us luck. Let's see how it goes. Got a little bottle of tea today. Alright, so put our tea away. Yaha! We know how this one works. Queen's Gambit. Ooh, not a Queen's Gambit, though. I'm still going to go with my normal Queen's Gambit decline setup. It feels like a strong position. My opponent is not challenging the center immediately, so I get to take on that center square. Go ahead and castle up. Keep developing, I guess. All right, so my opponent is now... No, he's got too many defenders of the square. I would need another attacker on it. All right, so now the question is, what do we do with our light square bishop? I was debating on Fee and Kettlewing. My opponent has not castled yet, and it's making me a little nervous that shenanigans like this start to happen. Notice, I can't capture here. So, is there a way that I could throw a monkey wrench into this plan? Yes, this way does it. No, not really, because my opponent can take with a knight. Oh, okay. I've got covered. I've got covered. I've got covered. So I'm okay. I have cut off my opponent here, which makes me happy. Yes, I can take here, because I've got two attackers in this square. Yep, that works out nice. All right, so my opponent's going to exchange, right? So I'm exchanging a piece for a piece, and my opponent is exchanging a piece for a pawn. So I end up going up in this scenario. Wait, what? How did I miss that? How did I miss that? This whole diagonal is wide open. How did I miss that? I'm sitting here staring at it thinking, oh, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine, perfectly natural, perfectly fine. And I 100% just flat out dropped an entire queen. So that's pretty much game over, almost in anyone's book. My opponent's going to be looking for trades. I would. Trying to decide now where to reposition my pieces. My opponent's up in material significantly. I was gonna say, I do have a bishop pair, which my opponent doesn't have. So that would be nice to keep an eye on it. I think I'm going to rotate this knight up to here. Ah! The B pawn. Damn it. It's always the B pawn. We're falling apart fast now. I have it covered with my knight. Would love to be able to get involved here. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. We just toasted it. We punted. We punted pretty hard. The only thing I've got going for me right now is my bishop pair and the fact that my opponent's king is a little open. I have nothing that I can do to get to get involved in that action. Get my own infiltration in. See if maybe that helps somehow. But I just think it's too little too late at this point in time. I am winning material here. No, I'm not, because my rook is under attack. I am winning here. So we're getting something back. We're getting something back. It's not game over yet. Not quite game over yet. It's not quite game over yet. Now, I don't have back rank issues because my knight can cover. I'm about to push a pawn anyway, but my knight can cover. So I've got my rooks doubled up. So that's why that knight directly in front of the king, that's why that's really strong, really, really helpful, is because it allows you to stick that knight here. Mm-hmm. There's got to be a mating pattern here somewhere. All right, let's count. We got the time. So this is covered. 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 My opponent can get here. This is the only square not covered. Which I can't get there, but I can get here at least. Forces my opponent here. We got something, right? We're gonna keep trying anyway. Oh, my opponent left the game? When did that happen? I'll give him a little bit to see if he comes back. He's got plenty of time on the clock. So I'm gonna pause here and I'm gonna let the clock count down for a little bit. Just in case he comes back. If he comes back, I will unpause, all right? So give me just a second. Alrighty, so I gave this person about 3 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Okay. All right, let's. I just want to look to see here if there was a checkmate pattern. So we had figured it out that the only place the king could go was here. Now from here, the options I was looking at was number one was bringing my rook over to cut the king off completely. Now the king can escape this way. We know that. So if the king can escape this way, then me removing this defender allows the king to escape. And then, yeah, from here, the king has lots of options. And once the king starts to escape that way, like, is there any... My next thought is I do have an outside passed pawn, or almost passed pawn. All I have to do is get it working, and I could... I don't know how I'm going to finish this game, to be honest with you. Now he's got a double attacker here. He's going to pick up this. All right, so... Yeah, that's not a good plan, because now I've lost all my advantage. All right, so let's go back. Delete from here. All right, so from here, the last move I made was this one, where we know the opponent's only move was this direction. So let's just walk through what the engine says the best possible move set to keep our advantage. So in this case, we know the king has to go here. From here, the engine says, I'm going to let it keep calculating up so that we can get the full calculation here. So E capture seems to be the best move. Rook d2 from here seems okay as well, but E captures is the best move. Now the best move for my opponent is to capture back. Okay. Oh, rook over. All right. Excuse me. And then, yeah, from here, I think it's pretty obvious. I will most likely just capture back. Yeah. My opponent's king's going to capture. And then from here, okay, I push my g-pawn. Why do we push the g-pawn? I don't know. I guess maybe to get the connected passed pawns ready, because these two pawns now can overwhelm this pawn. Right? Capture, capture, and then you walk to victory. Okay. Now it says my opponent's king should walk away. And realistically, it looks like the engine just wants my king to get into the game. That is covered. Okay, that's covered. Now, see, I have a dark square bishop, and I was hoping that I could trick my opponent into giving me some kind of trade with the queen, but I'm kind of vamping while the engine calculates. Get the king into the game. My opponent's queen's now in the game. Now I can get my knight into the game. My opponent's going to sacrifice the queen to remove my two rooks, because they were a threat, it seems. Ah, because look at this. All right, let's do some mental math here from this perspective. That's taken away. So these two are available. So let's say my opponent does that. I could just go here, but then drives my opponent's king down. That's checkmate. Interesting. Because that's, well, my king covers all three of these. So, that way. Can we do the same thing? Not really. Not really, because the opponent's king can still walk downward. Huh. Either way. Okay, let me delete all this. Let me delete. So it says the queen sacrifice is the best bet for white. Now white is definitely attacking my pawn, so my king's going to go defend. Perfect. Attacking my undefended bishop. Tuck my bishop back in. And then get my rook behind the passed pawn. And now we make sure that that pawn never promotes. And then we should be able to use our bishop and our rook to restrain the king. Yep, and you notice our rook just restraining. That's all we're doing. We're just restraining the king. So now with check, right, the king has to go this way, has to basically go up the board. This is defended now, so there's no way the king's coming past the third rank. This is a long, drawn-out pattern, but we've got to drive the king to the corner, which we do. And then we're going to use the knight, I believe. So my opponent still has moves, so we haven't blocked him out. Yeah, shouldn't we be using... Well, that's a heck of a mating pattern, isn't it? Look at that. That is interesting. That is one interesting mating pattern. I would never have seen that on my own. I would have just basically been guessing until I got there. All right, let's go back to the very beginning. So we started out with what looked to be a Queen's Gambit type position. We went into this. Oh, this is an Indian style game where we're gonna push the B pawn and then fianchetto the bishop. That never happened though. So yeah, so this transposed. Notice this bishop normally ends up here. I bet if we do this, yeah, it stays as an Indian game. Yeah. Whereas as soon as my opponent came down here, it transitioned into a queen's pawn game. So, okay. Now from here, we just do standard development, is all we really did. My opponent has activated both bishops along strong diagonals, so that's a very solid move by my opponent. Remaneuvering this bishop up. It bit me. It bit me hard. So my opponent could have gone up at this point in time. So I was thinking that my opponent would trade, and then I could trade, and that would eliminate this type of situation. But for whatever reason, my opponent remaneuvered their knight along this path. Oh, excuse me again. Yeah, I cannot believe all I had to do was capture this way. I can't believe I allowed this to happen. All I had to do was capture this way. My opponent takes here, I pick up here. Ah, no, because my opponent has this on pre, so we can undo that. And then we can back this guy off first. And then, yeah, this is trapped either way. So the knight's trapped. Interesting. Okay. What an interesting line this turned out to be. That's a really interesting line. Okay, okay. I get lost in these lines sometimes, guys. I'm sorry, but yeah, I look at this evaluation. A 7-point swing in my favor if I had just captured this way, and then a 5-point the other direction because I dropped the whole dadgum queen. What a stupid move that was. Absolutely stupid. My opponent was smart, making trades. Yeah, dropped another pawn there. And my opponent ends up going up a ton of material. And then, yeah, dropping the B pawn here was just mind-boggling. Yeah, I could have defended with the Oh, yeah, this would have been a great defense, too, because it can pick up some material back. Yep. Frustrating. Notice everything that the queen can get to is defended except for this bishop, so we have to defend the bishop, which we do. My opponent immediately attacks it again, but that's okay. Notice they have cut off the queen from attacking the bishop anyway, so if they move the bishop, I can just move the rook right back. Now, yeah, he should move it up to here, basically. At which point in time, I would have to find a new home for this bishop. But I got lucky that I was able to get some work in this way. What an idiot. Man, I miss so many things sometimes. Y'all, so many things I miss. I cannot believe I allowed my opponent to squeeze away with that. Look at that. Would have been just a small advantage to white instead of the massive one that I've allowed it to be. Completely blindsided. Did you guys see that? Did you guys catch it? Look, you tell me. You go down there and you tell me in the comments, right? If you saw it or not, right? Or text me or whatever. You guys know me. All right, let's see. How else did this game go? And yeah, I went ahead and got my rook infiltrated. This this pawn push here I was not necessary. Notice my rook is defending my bishop, so... And then here I was able to get some material back. Boom. I drop a pawn, but I picked up a bishop, so I'm okay with that. My queen side is just destroyed, right? But wow, the engine says now... Right, because I can pick up the rook. Yep. So that's where I get... That's where I get back into the game, is right here. So I pick up a bishop and a rook, and my opponent still has the queen. So now, I mean, look at the material on the board. Now I've got 2 rooks and 2 pieces, and my opponent has 1 rook and a queen. So for the queen, I now have a rook and 2 pieces. What's the pawn indifference? 2 pawns. My opponent is up 2 pawns in that. So for a queen and 2 pawns, I've got a rook and 2 pieces. The engine says the evaluation has swung back towards me. Yep, this was important. This is very important. This knight, very important. We said that in the game. And now look at the evaluation. Wow, it is 100% swung. Checkmate in 5 that I missed somehow. Checkmate in 4. I knew there had to be something. I just couldn't find it. Yeah, that's where I give it up. So here... And now, wow. Okay, so I had the move order wrong. I had to block off the king. Once the king is walled off, then we can drive up here. Ugh, I just had the move order wrong by 1 piece. So by pushing this, the only squares for the king are this way. So all I had to do was drive my rook over first. Damn. All I had to do was drive my walls over it. So now these 2 walls... The king is 100% trapped on the G file. I've got this square taken care of, this square taken care of. All of these are taken care of. So the king can't go anywhere if that rook is there. Ah, man. Oops, this and that make the rest of the wall. Actually, it's just really this. That's all that's necessary, because these are covered. And then you drive the pawn up, and it's checkmate. Oh, that close, guys, that close. Oh well. I missed it. I allowed my opponent's king to escape. And then, wow, this was a mistake. I thought that maybe... Oh, yeah, I guess that... It allows my opponent to get involved this way. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I was just thinking that my opponent would capture, and then it would give me access to the fourth file. Or the... whatever you want to call it. The fourth row. Whoops. Undo, undo, undo. Anyway, that's the end of the game. You guys saw where it went from there. We played around with the end game. Okay, here we go. So yeah, and my opponent went down that way, and then now I got the block off. Now I've got him blocked off because he can't go here, he can't go here. This is the only square that's available to him. And realistically, now I should have picked up, because now I can get involved like this. And now we're getting him cut off again. Alrighty, well that was an interesting one, guys. It shows you. This is I've told you a million times, I'm not good at chess. I do stupid things like dropping an entire queen. An entire queen, y'all. Right here, look at this dumb move. What a dumb move. What kind of idiot makes a move like that? That's so stupid. But we stayed in it. We didn't panic. We looked for tactics. We looked for attacking opportunities. And we pulled it out somehow. Go figure. Alrighty, guys, that was a crazy one. I will catch you next time. Bye, guys.